Nobody worried. Look, everybody gets real quiet.
Okay, we'll go ahead and call this meeting to order for the Community Development Corporation on January 10th, 2022. Happy New Year, everybody. Like there's an American flag in the room, so we can go ahead and everybody join in there for the meeting.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Would you please roll call?
All right, Dr. Romero,
Present.
Ms. Eby, here. Ms. Galloway, here. Ms. Petty, here. Mr. Ramos,
Here.
Ms. West,
Well, she said she couldn't make it.
okay,
Yeah.
and Mr. Rivera.
Here. Thank you. We'll now move on to open forum. At this time, people are allowed 5 minutes to address the board on any topics. Have we had any requests or anybody that wishes to address?
I don't have any formal requests, but.
Oh, I had submitted the, no, sorry.
Well, no, so
you're
you're
on
here
the
for
list.
pickleball, right? So
Yeah.
you have you're on here, so you don't have to speak now, you can speak in just a little bit. So we got you, promise.
Thank you. We'll go ahead and move on to new business. First item being the minutes. Give everybody a moment to review if they have not already the meeting minutes from our December 6th, 2021. Are there any points of discussion or comments, or questions on the minutes as presented? Entertain a motion to approve the minutes from our last meeting on December 6th.
Make motion.
All in favor? Any opposed? Minutes are approved as presented. Thank you. Now move on to the financial report.
Okay, so we, for December sales tax, the CDC received $18,455 from the town. Let's see, the summary budget comparison, not much is different from the last meeting. There's not really, the only income is the main difference. If you have any questions on that, I'll be happy to answer it. And same with the balance sheet. We've not written any checks, we've not had any expenses. I do want to go ahead and request permission to go ahead and pay out the salaries and the office supplies and just give the nod to go ahead and make the check. But that's, I mean, it's in the budget, it's nothing, but just go ahead.
I think it's appropriate. Any other?
Okay. All right, so I'll get those cut and that'll be reported in on the next meeting.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Any other comments or questions about the financial report as presented? Well, if not, we will move on to the next item, which is a presentation.
Mask off and put my hearing aid back in. I think everyone has a copy of what I dropped off at the office the other day, and I really do appreciate everyone letting us do this. The four of us here are pickleball enthusiasts. This is pickleball. You do more than this when you're playing, you hit it over a net. It's very similar to ping pong, except on a larger scale. And you can also get these nice fancy shirts. That's a pickle. But in the stuff material that was sent out, pickleball, it started in 1965 in Bainbridge Island in Washington, just outside of Seattle. A family had a badminton court in their backyard, and they wanted to play something that all their whole family could play at all ages. And they just developed this thing called pickleball. The rumor is it that they called it pickleball was because they had a dog that would chase the waffle ball all over the place, and that's why they called it pickleball. But I think that's more of a rumor. The dog was named Pickles.
Okay.
But it's a very healthy game. We play, it's played way over in the East Coast, it's played on the West Coast, it's played in Canada. They have Canada Pickleball. They have an International Federation of Pickleball. In Mexico, there's a resort that has 10 dedicated pickleball courts that has a spa, a smoothie, a bar, and lights. And we're only asking for 3 pickleball courts.
Where is this in Mexico?
Yeah.
No, really, I'm afraid I'll pronounce it wrong, Las Barillas in Baja California, sir. And it really is, it says it's a bucket list of pickleball courts of all places. But there is one pickleball court set up at the basketball court over here at Lowell Park. And it was really nice that a gentleman by the name of Dennis had called up, and I don't know who he spoke to, but they allowed him to put tape down. And they put the tape down, it worked out real well. One of the problems is of course not a problem, it's a good thing. Monday through Friday, the Zumba class has it, and those people they're having a blast every day. But by later on in the day, as we all know, the wind picks up and it's difficult to play underneath there. I wish there was a way we could put 2 courts in there or even 3 courts, but unfortunately, that basketball arena is not, it's only 50 feet wide, and we need it 60 feet wide for pickleball courts. In there, I also put a request that if we can get the same size as a basketball court, which is 60 by 94, we could put 3 pickleball courts in. There is an interest every time we play at roll-off. People are coming by and saying, "What are you guys doing?" Because it really, the sound travels a long way. We go over to the island and we play at Isla Blanca County Park. They have 2 pickleball courts set up there. And there's 25 plus people show up on 2 pickleball courts. They opened up at 8 o'clock. And luckily it's right by that, but it's a very popular thing. It's one of the largest growing sports there is in the United States. And it sure be nice. I can tell you that people would play like crazy if it's available out there. So
I'd like to say too, that I'd be happy to teach people the basics. Kids might really like it. I give a couple days a week dedicated to that. Like tennis, pardon me? Is it like?
it's similar to tennis. It's more ping pong than tennis, but actually you can play on tennis court too. You can use that tennis net, you just need the lines for that. But if you have any questions or anyone else wants to make a comment, it's a lovely game. It's great. Where we play, the people that beat us all the time are 80 years old. This is a real good game for older people who are trying to stay healthy.
Oh,
Truly,
a lot of older people.
like us.
In quite a few states in the United States. I know my grandchildren in Minnesota and North Dakota have learned it in physical education. When I told them that I had learned how to play pickleball, oh, Grandma, we learned that in Quiet, you know. And schools are putting courts out in their playgrounds, so you know kids can play. So it's not just an adult thing.
No.
I think in the summer here, the children, when they aren't in school, I think would play it. They like to be active, you know, in the basketball court. You can hardly go by there and it's not busy. And I think that something like this would be very similar.
What's the court?
It's 60 by 90, per court. The court itself is 44 by 20, but you need space on either side and on the ends to maneuver, like if it was grass there. it wouldn't. So for 3 courts, it would be 60 by 94.
Oh, cement.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes, be cement, yeah.
yes,
Yes.
you could have 3
That's what
courts,
you're asking for is 60 by 90 of cement and 3 nets.
60 by 94.
60 by 90.
And a fence?
And just a 4-foot fence. Doesn't have to be a 10-foot fence.
Does it have to have a fence?
Does not have to have a fence. But here's the dilemma, the problem is that this ball travels. And you'll be spending a lot of your time chasing the balls. If it was fenced in, it goes
It's
against
like
the fence.
tennis.
It's like tennis, and
Yeah.
it's kind of like basketball, there are gonna be pros and cons.
Okay.
And also, the game is typically played doubles,
Yes.
2 on each side of the net. And so what really makes it nice is it's very inclusive. You can have 8 people there, if you have a single court, do nice rotations, things like that. And it is one of, I think maybe you Art mentioned that it is one of the fastest growing sports in the country.
When y'all approached me, I had told them that we're working on almost completing with the park, the master parks plan. So we're incorporating that. This was as one of the items that we can consider. But I said we have to approve that park plan because with that, then the city can plan what they're gonna do with the land that they have, and if they acquire more land. I know that's gonna take a lot of space up, like in Roland Park, because we use the facility for other things, but unless somebody designs it, whoever the person that they'll be hired to design a green road park and our other park areas that we can incorporate. That's like what-
Ecosystem,
Sorry.
the ecosystem side.
Well, there's what, 13 acres that y'all have? The
Well,
city has?
there's money around.
There's
there really
13
ain't
acres
any
at the
room to
city.
go off park,
It's just
because
the rattlesnakes over there might be a problem.
Oh, the javelinas?
Now, oh, that little family of Halloween, they
Yeah,
passed.
that's why they need a fence.
Yes.
So how many people, like, opposed to tennis, how many people could play pickleball
On
in
one
the
court?
area of a tennis court, for instance?
Oh, 4 times 3. So there's 3 courts would be 4 people. But you would have more than that because then you have people standing by and you rotate.
I'm just saying, for the expense and size of a tennis court, you could have something for a lot more people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Participate at
We have
once.
3 courts.
3 courts, yes.
What's the current size of the basketball court?
This one over here is 50 feet wide, but I have a sheet by.
This one here?
Yeah, it says relatively the size of a basketball court, 60 feet by 94.
Okay, so the length is the one we have there,
It may be 94, but it's not 60 feet.
but it's not 60 feet.
Yeah, and otherwise I would say, let's put.
Right.
You could just put lines down, but you can't do it because you have those big pillars on the sides
Right,
and someone would hurt themselves.
so, the width of the pickle courts, or the length, I guess, going side to side, are 44 feet?
Yes, but you need, go ahead,
Yeah, end to end is
And-
44, the width is 20.
yes, of the actual court.
Yeah.
But you need like 6 feet behind it, as you would in any game. You need room on all the sides, otherwise you need the room on the side.
So it would be another slab like we have there in the basketball court,
Correct.
with the width of 5 feet on each side,
It would,
Yes.
basically, right?
Except for the
Right.
fact that it more than likely would go east to west
Right.
instead of north to
Yeah,
south.
and I'm just trying to visualize the size of the slab and
Right.
kind of, what space we have available.
Yeah, if you can verbalize where exactly it's gonna be relative to.
Right, on
Yeah.
the end of the basketball court going sideways.
I thought I had sent something also.
So would it be parallel to the existing?
It would have to be off kilter a little bit.
I know, but it would still be in parallel,
Yes,
going east west.
it needs to go north-south,
Right.
okay, but it will be south of the existing basketball court. Is that what they're asking for?
Yeah.
It'd be south of the existing, but it'd just be tilted a little bit this way. And that's the best design to have. But it'd be just south of the existing basketball court that's there.
There's someone playing basketball. At the same time you guys are playing pickleball.
Yeah,
Basketball is not gonna get interfered with the drive.
No.
It would if I was playing.
And so to the question of fences, is it practical to have fences that are removable and then reattached?
I'm not familiar with removable fences. The nets are removable. You can buy permanent nets, but the permanent nets are like $1,500. And the removable nets are only 1/5. And that's, I mean, to me, that's the best way to go. I mean, unless you're gonna have big tournaments and stuff like that, then I guess you glue them up all the time. But also the weather, you just lock them up every day.
What's the net stretched from?
That's
Is it like, you would have to put in something permanent? to
No.
stretch
No,
it?
it don't come to the
Okay,
state.
the whole
It's
thing
freestanding.
comes down.
They're
Freestanding.
portable and go up and down very easily.
Easier to take care of.
Individual pickle courts to run north and south. Or because.
Yes, they need to run north and south.
Yeah.
All three of them run,
But if you run 3 of them parallel, that should run, that court that you build should be east and west then, so the courts are. north and
Yes.
South.
yes.
Yeah.
And the reason being is because the sun will be there.
Yeah.
So can you speak a little bit more of the popularity in the grove, because that piqued my interest.
Okay, one of the sheets, 4.2 million people play pickleball. And it is, people are abandoning their sport and they're putting on pickleball courts.
It's considered for an Olympic event.
It's eventually, not just yet.
Yeah, you can see cornhole tournaments on TV now.
I'm already sold, I just want to make sure that we have the corroborating.
Yeah,
And if you could go on YouTube and just look up pickleball,
No.
and what the neat thing about that, when people are just learning how to play, we say, go there, they'll give you the rules, they'll give you the directions, you'll see them play. They have schools teaching pickleball. And we've just been involved in it for the last 3 years, so we're new still.
yeah, but the ball, because it's a light ball, it's very susceptible to the wind. So one nice thing about roll-off park, just because of the dwellings that are around the net, there's a little bit less wind there.
Wind
There
burn.
would be down by Highway 100 where the baseball
Oh, yeah,
fields are.
that's windy.
But there it would it'd be pretty limiting. The other thing that a pickleball court can have is you can have like cyclone fence around it. And then there you can hang, they have like
Sheeting.
canvas type screens that go around to dampen the wind as well.
Now, how high would the fence be?
Doesn't have to be.
Well, the
very
fence
high.
itself doesn't have to be high, but
4 foot, you said, right? 4 foot.
yeah.
Well, I'm just taking 4 feet, I'm just throwing it out there. Usually, they're built on old tennis courts, and so they have that tall fence.
I hate to be a Debbie Downer, but the fence on Roll Park is not conducive to what we do for this community. It just isn't. You don't notice a fence around the basketball court.
No, there's not.
Okay. Point being is those open areas are used for a lot of functions that we do annually,
Sure.
many times during the year. And what you're asking us to do is pretty much revamping that full section to the right-hand side, to the south side, in order to facilitate a pickleball court that I can't support as far as this community that's gonna be utilized the way the basketball court is continually with the Zumba and the other functions that go on over there that we support as this community.
Yeah, but the basketball court is exclusively basketball, isn't it?
Exactly.
Well, that's my
Now, the
point.
Zumba court, again, you're wanting to take up the whole other side of
Yeah,
the
but
park.
the basketball court is exclusively basketball.
It's used for different functions.
It's used
It
for
is.
many different
Zumba,
functions.
and then we used to have meetings out there also.
Yeah, but the fence is not an obstruction.
It
And
depends on
and
what
would
kind
you
of
feel
fence.
different about it if there was no fence around it?
No,
Why?
So because it's just
I'm
grass.
just saying, you're asking us to resurface a grassy area. And there aren't many grassy areas for this community here. This is what we deal with in many different venues is that we're constantly looking for park areas, and there's just not many that are accessible to the city.
That's
There
why-
aren't. We
That's
don't
why it's gonna
own
be
property.
incorporated in the master.
That's what I was
See
gonna
how it's
say
being
in
incorporated.
your report, that in the future plans, yes, that's feasible. But to revamp our only park within the center of our community, I don't see it.
They had a survey back before I was here on the parks plan, and some people wanted the tennis courts back. There used to be tennis courts on the park. But I don't know what that incorporates, if that needs fenced and everything. But I was just gonna ask, could that be incorporated, as the tennis courts and the pickle?
If
ball court?
you're asking, can you make a tennis court, which would be 60 by 120, by the way, which is fine. You could actually put 4 pickleball courts in there and a tennis court.
So we could kill 2 birds with 1
Yeah.
stone.
The problem is there, you would have to have a fence with tennis, whereas in pickleball,
We're gonna be flying.
Are there any
It doesn't
tennis
require
courts?
a tennis court.
at all?
The golf course has 2 golf courses.
Oh, they do have them?
Yes,
Mhm.
right next to the pool, the main pool.
That's
No,
one.
it's
There's
Yeah,
one.
there's
I thought it was two.
there is,
They're right next to each other.
Yeah.
yeah, there is a tennis court at the golf course.
There's one.
And there is 1 pickleball court inside that area
Oh, okay.
right now.
They don't let you
But is
use
it
it?
exclusively?
Okay.
But we don't live on a golf.
We don't live on the golf.
Well,
Yeah, and it is for HOA.
Exclusive?
Another alternative is any members of Cross Church? Cross Church, are you members? They're always asking if there's anything that, all that land that's on Broadway where we have the skate park.
Oh, yeah.
They're asking if, and that might be, I mean, it's gonna be open because, the weather will be, but that might be an alternative to speak with them. If they want you to, if they want to do some things for the community. One time they're gonna do a sculpture garden there and then they want to do something else. So I don't know if that's something that y'all can.
Another thing to consider would be actually down at the baseball park and do a fence that was a little higher, only not because of chasing the ball, it's not necessary, but just because you could put a wind screen around it and it would probably be very doable.
Two paddles and 3 balls on Amazon was $39. And that's not bad. So it doesn't cost much to get involved in it. And that costs $150, but it's an inexpensive sport also. You gotta replace these every now and then. Sometimes they get run over.
why you need a fence. The ball won't get run over.
And health benefits for, especially, again, I'm gonna say this, older people because I'm older, but it's amazing. My wife has had both her knees replaced and her game is very much improved. And truly, some of the better players out there are the older people because they play with finesse. You don't have to be a power person, you don't have to be very athletic, you just use a little common sense and you dink it. Dinking it means just hit it barely over the net. And that's why this is dink responsibly.
Well, I mean, honestly, I like the idea. I like being able to access more outdoor activities. Yeah, but I mean, I do have to agree with Terry that our space is limited and we have to find and the best use for our resources, green spaces especially. Is there any way, and and the island, I mean, I don't know where the ones that the island has right now, or Isla Blanca, where in Isla Blanca?
It's down by, if you know where which,
It's near the statue.
it's between the statue
okay.
and
Alright.
the whole southern
Yeah.
big shelter thing.
Yeah, I mean, unless we have, honestly, if you look at our green space availability, it's very, very limited. And, just kind of looking at the layout of the court and the space that it would take up, it would really eat up another third of our space. And then the fence, so I definitely agree, but I think that maybe we need to ask the island for more courts. The county, because that's the county,
Correct.
and the space that they have throughout the various accesses. And I'm just kind of looking at resources, right? And just kind of being able to look at what we have available here. And I don't even think the one over here, the baseball park I don't think that's our property either.
That's county,
Right,
that's county, and accordingly, they're supposed to be taking Kendall and moving it
And-
over
and
to that
expanding the
right-hand
apartment.
side.
They're just gonna do a playground there.
Logistically, and, you know, God willing, that when we do plan our next space, you know, our futuristic spaces for community involvement, I think it'd be a great idea, a great concept. My idea would be to have a nice sports center where it would encompass a lot of things for this community, because our community is gonna start growing and leaps and bounds. And we are woefully shy for outdoor space for any of our activities. So we have to be diligent about how we delegate it. And I apologize, but we're willing to work with you on the level that in the future, when we look towards what we would like to do, what we would like to incorporate, I think it's a great idea. But it's not feasible in that form.
The gentleman down here can show up on church property.
Yeah.
If we approach the church, but then funding for it could come
Come
from
back,
the city.
come back, come back. I mean, that's what we're basically here for. And that is to say that, you know, we're open on those levels 100%.
Okay.
But
So when we talk to them, we're not expecting them to build it.
no,
And the
What you have
community
to
would
look
have
at
no
is-
problem building it on church property.
I don't know that.
No, that's an alternative, that if you'd like to speak, it's not part of the city.
I know.
It's like just you going.
She's asking if we have a problem investing money into construction on church property.
We can't. We can't do that.
We
Oh,
couldn't
so
build
it's
it on
not
church
viable
property,
then.
we couldn't build the court.
Well, then they might have to lease it to us and that might
It's
open
like-
a
it's like the skate
lot
park.
of-
The skate park, we're leasing it from them, but we're getting volunteers to restore it. So
And we have insurance.
Didn't you say that they wanted to do something for the, so what were their ideas, to pay for whatever?
I don't know. I just threw in that idea that they came up to us. That they didn't
Okay.
talk about the details.
Can they donate some property to us?
Boom.
They won't-
There we go.
Go for that.
Right?
They won't
The
donate.
door's open.
They want us to
so
donate
you
to them.
approach them and tell them that, you know,
That's more wishful.
we're
thinking.
open also.
This doesn't help you guys out, but the golf course, I'm on the HOA board, at the golf course, and we're gonna be building more pickleball courts
On the golf course,
on the golf course.
but you have to live on the golf course to use it.
I don't know if you can bring a visitor, you know what I mean? Can you, if you're a member, can you bring a visitor? I'll have to ask that and find out.
I don't live on the golf course.
I've approached the office about pickleball courts there.
Yeah.
And, we have a proposal where we could use the tennis court and make and, side by side, pickleball courts. But Kathy, you think that they're talking about building pickleball courts?
Yes. Which is great, but not for people who are not residents.
Right.
So still, I think we need to go to the church first. Talk to them, if they're willing to help us out, like if they own on the other side of the church, do they own that strip?
Where Broadway is, they own all that open area there.
Or maybe they're willing to feed us something or gift us something. for
And
tax
we're
purposes.
partnering with them with the skate park, that small one that's there.
And how does that work?
It's a lease.
It's a lease, and that's not an option.
Well,
Just what it is.
It's up to the council.
Yeah, but the skate park is a different thing, because that was a memorial. So
And that
we-
was
we had to
established.
keep that, yeah, we had to. So this is a little different, to see if they're willing to,
This is for our older children.
yes.
This is like Shark Tank. And then I get to go home and tell my grandkids that I gave a presentation in front of CDC.
I have one other thing, not the parking lot area for the walking trail, but on Palm, we used to park in there sometimes when there's not enough parking in the parking lot. That's a huge, big lot there. There's some mesquite trees and whatever. Does that belong to the city?
No.
There's a small strip where
We
the,
wish.
where the access is into the
Okay.
walking trail, and a few feet on the other side of it, but that lot that's to the north there, just as.
People are just being nice to let us park there now.
Excuse me?
They're just being nice to let us park there. They've never said anything like, no parking, keep out or anything, so.
Yeah, because when our birding group goes to bird at the walking trail, there's never, there's not enough parking there. So some of us do park in that. I always just assumed it belonged to the city.
I'm not sure who it belongs to. I've tried to look it up on CAD, the appraisal district website. Can't find it for anything. I kind of was thinking it belonged to the house next to or something. But I don't
No,
know
it
that,
doesn't. There was a fellow trimming trees in there the other day,
right?
and I asked him, first of all, what he was doing. He
Who
said he was-
paid him?
Yeah. Who paid him, yeah, and I asked him if it was the people next door, and he said, no, it wasn't.
Okay, well, that
He
answers that.
he
question.
himself is from Laguna Vista, so he knew what he was talking
Okay,
about. Yeah, I thought it would be.
yeah, we brought this one up many times already, because it would be nice to have that. 'Cause we were thinking of a little park with a fountain and all this type of thing, and that.
Interpreted the sign.
So at this point in time, the town is in the process of finalizing its
Yes.
parks master.
And we've already
plan.
incorporated the idea that people.
Okay. So that, on that parks master plan, is that still one of the goals, or is there a specific location where there's already
It's just
been
an
some
idea
discussion
to
on that?
present.
Okay,
So what happens is the next step is that, like they did in Rolla Park, we go out RFQs, whether we can raise some funds. So they get a professional person that does work with parks and with different things like that. And they come up with the idea of where's the best place to just place that.
So what property do we have available for, if it indeed does go through? Where could it be located?
Right now,
Nowhere.
that's a library. But I don't think that-
Yeah, see, that's the point. I mean, we keep on talking about, well, it could be there.
I know, there's not one, yeah, it has to be.
Okay.
What about that property next to Bridgeview between Bridgeview View and Paradise Grove?
We
Oh,
wish
that's
we
a
owned that.
$1,300,000.
Oh, it is? Oh, my God.
It's 1.5.
I wasn't aware if it was 1/3.
Yeah, it's 1.5 million.
Oh, there you go. Well,
We've been looking into that.
Yeah, and
That's
that's why I was trying to look at the basketball court. If you put another basketball court. Yeah, they would.
Well, then it gets like this, right, so you have to bring it, because it's not flat right there, right? So
Oh,
then, like,
that's
when you do
right.
the event, I mean, you're gonna have to bring in. quite a
Sure.
bit, so that's why we went, only know, because when we put, that's why tents don't ever go on that side, because it drops, and so you
It's like a
have to, not like it's flat right there, you know what I mean, you have to.
It's slow.
And I think there was kind of a ditch
Mhm.
Yes.
for a
Yeah.
reason, right?
It's the water.
Drainage.
Mhm. It's nice.
Yeah, I'm somewhat empathetic because I used to be on the HOA board for the golf course, and all those are reserved for residents. I mean, if you think about it, seriously, it is reserved for residents.
Yeah,
Because we pay dearly every year for
Oh, yeah.
use, right? And so I'm empathetic toward this cause because, I think the basketball court was I think it changed the landscape of the Laguna Vista. And, I'd like to see more facilities for those that don't live within those gates.
Oh, because there's so many
Oh, yeah.
kids that play basketball over here.
Yeah.
They don't live in this community, but we don't go over there and go where you live.
They,
We think it's great that they come out and,
Yeah.
and the community thrives as one.
kids come from Port Isabel, from Brownsville,
Yes.
from Los Fresnos,
And
we
that's
love
a
the way
stiff competition
the restrooms
over
are there.
there.
So that's why I was kind of leaning, okay, if there's any way that, okay, we'll make the fence, make it a dual purpose court like tennis or. Heck, you can Zumba dance floor.
Stage. No, there's gotta be.
Stay behind.
So you.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Because we dance, maybe I'm dancing that little grass.
Yeah,
That'd be a fun
Yeah,
dance floor.
I could
Yeah,
shoot for
but at
like.
least right now we can facilitate one court within basketball.
Yes, that's,
So at least we have one going,
That would be nice.
right? I mean, that works as it is now,
Yes.
right?
So would it help if it was painted instead of taped?
okay. Good.
I do think it would help.
I think it would be a lot better if it was painted.
Right.
I think it's a great.
Can we agree on that
Yes,
tonight?
sure.
I mean, I don't see where that, there's any deterrent on that.
Because the tape, the basketball players, I mean, they were scuffling around, so was the Zumba. I'll tell you, I love seeing Zumba there. I've seen all those people, that
Yeah.
amazes me. But, that tape will need to be replaced periodically. If it was painted, it's hitting fine. I mean, it would last a long time.
So is there a way to turn the lights on? Because it's kind of hard to see under there. We could get the lights on.
Oh,
And yet, I
they're on
really
a
light
timer.
at night and the lights on.
They're on a timer. They-
Oh.
Does the lines interfere with what the basketball lines would be, like, would it, everything would?
Well, that's a different color than.
Yeah, but it's a different color.
Yeah, not the same color as the basketball.
It could be like
Yeah.
a dog.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's something that can be
It
looked
could be a
at. just-
temporary fix, right?
I called Sherwin-Williams in town about paint, and they order court surface paint. They don't have it on hand. A gallon of paint is $62, and it would do a pickleball court. Actually, it would do two, but
Oh, slow down.
In that area.
Are our courts painted properly at this time, our basketball courts?
I'm gonna go check
Could
right now.
they could possibly use a, well, they could
Well, no, we
possibly
could
use
do that
a
freshen up.
facelift, and then we could do.
I
the
think we
pickleball.
freshened up some of the lines when we had the swearing in of mayor and everybody.
Yes.
I think we had everything freshened up and cleaned up, but I mean, it can't hurt to.
No. I
I
mean,
mean, if you look at, the high school gym, they have those courts set up for volleyball, for basketball,
Multi-purpose.
multi-purpose in it, and, and it works for everybody, everybody knows what out of bounds is for their sport and stuff, but I think if we get at least that going, I think at least.
That would be a
Games,
great
right?
help, yeah. The lines, different colors.
All right, what color would make you guys happy?
blue or yellow.
Yeah.
Blue or yellow? All right.
Usually the basketball is white.
When I talked to Sherwin-Williams, she didn't know if they had yellow. They had red and blue, all sorts of colors of green, light, medium, dark green, and of course they had white.
Isn't the floor blue on the basketball court?
Well, it depends,
I think it's just a cement color, isn't it just the
Or it's kind of a
blue,
blue.
green,
blue, green, yeah.
and the
it's
lines,
blue.
the lines are for basketball, are they black,
White.
white?
That's what I think.
I play basketball a lot out there. I'm an avid player. Okay, so as long as they're not white, we would be fine.
Yeah,
As long as
something
they don't
that
match the
stands out.
floor. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so, yeah, but yellow would seem to be good if the floor is green and the white, yellow looks like it could be a winner.
Okay, and the area right out here would not be a good place because of the traffic or because of.
Well, if there's a fence, it'd be
Well, we
fine.
can, I think we can still look into that, but I think meanwhile, we can at least.
No, I mean that too, but I'm just saying, would that be an
Triangle
option?
right out here.
Would that be an option? I mean, we are gonna put butterfly gardens.
And I don't think you
Both
can want a
places.
pickleball court out here, Kathy. This is a very nice
That's right.
green space. I don't think you want to take that away.
That's what I was thinking.
No, I understand the logistics of wanting to abut the impervious structure adjacent to the basketball court, but what about, and I agree maintaining our green space in the park is ideal. There is already a small slab over by the gazebo, and that's on relatively flat land and it's used a lot for other things. What if that section was incorporated and expanded? So you weren't actually pouring the full square footage of concrete, and then you could utilize that for other events as well.
You
Dance
have a
floor,
nice
that's
flat
not-
surface then
Yeah.
instead of people standing
Dance
in
floor,
grass.
percent.
I know that a green space is really nice, but for me, I cannot stand in grass. I have had an extensive allergy to chigger bites.
She's
And,
sensitive.
and if I walked out here in the grass, I would have 15 bites. But if it's a solid surface,
You know, we already have the secret spaces like there too.
But is that near the road though, because you might have to put up a fence or.
They talk about
Like, well,
Plymouth
Plymouth
Lane.
Yeah.
It's right in front. Where they put the-
Between the.
it's where Santa was sitting.
Yes.
Mhm.
It's the dance floor when you have.
Take a little bigger look at
The
that.
van.
I thought it was just
Yeah.
a gazebo, I didn't realize.
It's pretty little, I'm thinking 10 by
Yeah,
15.
it's
Maybe.
small, but there's already some poured concrete over there. And it's true, I think that our town does a fantastic job of utilizing all of the assets in a multi-use fashion. The basketball court is exhibitor space, and we have events, it's Zumba, it's basketball. And I'm sure that we would be able to utilize something of that nature in that location. That may be a better fit for it. And I've seen the ones they put on the island. They're very nice. The admission to Isablanca Park is $10 per person. You don't have an annual pass, and for annual pass holders, it's over $100 now. And in the summer and other times of year, it's a bear getting on and off the island with single bridge traffic. I think that, you know, to take care of our community, we are very much a bedroom retirement community where people wouldn't have to, if they wanted to play, it can be outdoor and active, which is a great goal. Have to drive 30 minutes through weekend traffic to go play on the island.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's true.
Very good, that's a good idea.
So you could do this with everything being portable that you could break down.
Yes.
The nets, yeah, the nets are real simple, really, truly.
I actually asked at the golf course community, we have a helipad. I actually asked if we could have lines put on that helipad,
Oh, no.
because how often do you see a helicopter landing there? And we wouldn't have to build anything else, you know, and whatever. They were mortified.
I'm not mortified. Right here, too. Never.
Yeah, we never,
Sorry.
never even heard about it being used.
I guarantee you, when you get up to set up and start playing.
Exactly.
Murphy's Law.
If you see us out playing, come on out and take a look at it.
Yeah, we can use our pallets.
Sure.
When do y'all play?
Whenever we can.
I mean, in the morning?
Well, let's,
Well, Zumba's.
today we didn't play because the weather was off.
Yeah.
So we have to, if we're using here, we have to wait till Zoom is done, which is fine, and they're real nice.
9:30.
The last time we were there, we got a drink.
Yeah.
The thing is, we have to listen to the forecast. We can't play if it's windy.
All right.
14 miles an hour.
But we might play Wednesday, so what's the thing?
They make me stop it when I'm watching from the window, because it's right there from the concierge. They're not doing it out there. I'm tired of
Wow.
Well, thank you very much for listening to us. We appreciate the opportunity.
Artie, you did a very good job.
Thank you.
I did like how you presented everything, and it's very easy to understand.
And it really is a good, good looking. I'm gonna be 70 in a week.
Okay, are you guys gonna talk to the church next door? Do you want?
Oh, I'll be glad to go over there and talk to them. Yeah, money wise is the first thing that, you know, comes to mind. How in the world would that work? You know, they have a lot of space there.
These are also worried about liability.
Exactly.
I'm sure.
That's why if they-
And it is like,
that was
the contract
That
has
was the
here,
thing with that, the
measure it
state
out.
was the life.
You have to worry about the, put out there for that,
This,
at the park.
at the corner where Santa was,
Yeah, in front of it.
we
there's a
can-
little
we can go
dance
over there
floor
and-
area.
I'll take a look. I never realized, I didn't think it was very big.
Yeah.
But it's level ground, so I think it would be easier construction than there on that drainage slough off of the.
yeah, when it does rain, there's water that stands at the end of the basketball court. Yeah.
Let's take a look at that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
And good luck in your new career.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate that.
I'm anxious to have to be open over there.
Yes.
Let's see this.
Are we open?
What,
Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
you.
before we move off that item, I did you want to make a motion to present for funding for repainting lines on that surface?
Yeah, I move that we provide any necessary funding for the facilitation of the pickleball court.
In favor of repainting? Any opposed?
Just a comment, I guess, and real quick, because just for aesthetics, for the court, you know, how they mentioned bright yellow lines. And I think it's important to keep the aesthetics, you know, feasible to what the court looks like, you know. Having crazy colors, I think just takes away from the aesthetics, so I think that's important, just.
Yeah,
Just
lighter
like-
yellow.
So just like the yellow, just like the normal yellow that you use on a.
Highway yellow, you know, when they
Yeah,
do that.
like that.
I've
Because,
seen-
I actually was suggest this white, because it's a green base color, right?
I thought it was green.
Green, and then it has an outline of white. And so if you're gonna use a pickleball right in the center of the court, why couldn't you just keep white? You know,
Well,
yellow.
I think they'd be happy with that. I mean, it doesn't have to be, it's obviously not an official pickleball court, so I think you could do it. That's.
I think they'd be happy with anything.
Yeah, I mean,
What? Oh, yeah.
Well, they've been using it, so.
He's a basketball player.
I think we just need to look at
Basketball
it.
players,
just
they
so
don't
it's-
get
Yeah,
confused. They
just so it's
don't-
aesthetically correct.
They don't,
Right.
they don't play in the lines over there. They
Yeah.
play basketball.
I think though that their first point was that they have Zumba while they want to play.
It's just a time.
That was their
The schedule.
original point when they started talking.
But I wouldn't want to go up against them Zumba ladies, okay? You can throw down.
The perfect time to play pickleball. You know, that-
I like your idea. What I was trying to imagine was some kind of a fence that you could put that would come down.
Mhm.
So that when we have an event, you take the fence down.
Yeah.
Because
Are you gonna leave
obviously
it
you're
up
gonna take
otherwise?
the net
Are you gonna leave it up the whole time?
when they're playing
Otherwise,
pickleball.
only when they're playing pickleball.
I don't care. That's
But
fine.
you can't
That's
just
why I
leave a
asked them
fence
if
up
it
in the middle of the
could
park.
be portable.
If you said they had the portable ones that were less expensive, of course.
Because if it's
No,
just a
she's talking
wind
about a
block,
portable fence, like.
Yes,
if
Oh,
it's
he was
just a
talking about the portable nets, I thought.
with that,
I guess I keep the chase of the ball.
right, but I think also
Extra exercise.
for a wind block, because in this town, let's face it, it's windy. So if it was portable, if you could move it, you could move it to the direction the wind's coming from. You wouldn't have to surround it. And that way you could take it down and put it back up. I mean, if we paint the court, of course, they can use that,
But they're gonna have to.
but
put the
there's not gonna
fence
be a
up,
fence.
And they're gonna have to take the fence down.
Absolutely, they're gonna have to put their net up. I mean, you can't, do you remember when the tennis court was there?
Oh, yeah.
You can't just leave that out there,
Oh.
because it'll be trashed.
They jump on
Everything,
it.
anything you leave out there is gonna be trashed sooner or later. So I would think that a portable one would be better, actually.
We've done a lot of work to ask them to put a fence up every single time they play.
That's it.
The pavilion would definitely serve as a windbreaker, the pavilion does, the basketball pavilion versus being out in the open. There would be more wind to try to break from your space being out in the open than it would be under the pavilion.
It's a nice thought to try to accommodate everyone, but you can't put so much in one area that is just overwhelmed.
Well, basically, everything you do here outdoors is gonna involve wind.
Yeah.
So all I was thinking about was like something on one side, the direction the wind's coming from, not, of course, if we built the whole thing like a park, then you could do the, like tennis, the fencing around it, but it would be dedicated to that.
I've seen the pickleball being played in tennis courts where they have that real fine mesh.
Uh-huh,
I mean, that literally blocks the wind.
on a chain link type of fence.
I've seen pickleball played in those courts. I've never
Uh-huh.
seen it just in chain link fence.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, because the wind, I'm familiar with the sport and the wind is it's a big issue with the game.
So even if we help them build over there by the gazebo and put a 4-foot fence, when it's windy, they can't play.
Yeah, it's not gonna work.
So that's gonna be a lot of money spent on something that's not used very often because of the wind.
The ones on the island, what kind of barrier do they have?
Well, I think it's more of a natural barrier just from where they nested them in that RV park area behind that first
Oh.
pavilion. So it's pretty sheltered from that predominant southeast wind.
Yeah, I've seen pickleball played in tennis courts with that green mesh that comes around.
I was surprised there. I don't remember exactly what he said, but I think it was somewhere around 14 knots. He was talking about what was acceptable, and I was shocked at how much wind was acceptable.
Yeah, because that's a light ball.
It's a very.
It's
light
not,
ball,
it's heavy as a
and,
tennis ball.
you know, I don't want to run off 214 knots. You know?
And there's no room on the sports park, like what's over there? The sports park, like the sportsplex or whatever over
It's
there?
not gonna be ours anymore. They're gonna rebuild there and make it smaller.
Oh,
That's gone,
it's gone,
that's gone.
Yeah.
okay.
But the other idea in terms of if you want to block more wind even under the pavilion is that you have some cleats on the metal posts that you could just hook onto on the north and the south side. That would be plenty, and you just run it
Yeah,
and hang it on the cleats that you would put on your columns, the steel beams.
that would be cool.
And you don't have to be, it's just a rope
That-
of hanging net,
That could apply to other times too, when you're using it like a backdrop
yeah.
type of thing.
Otherwise, you need something to hold up the netting, and that's just more work to take down and break down and whatnot, but here you just pull it and you attach it and it just hangs.
Well, that might solve the conflict with the Zumba. If you could make it more accessible different times of the day. Good idea.
So, but, yeah, I mean, I think the basketball court is perfect for now,
Simplest.
until we, I don't know, build an island out there in the bay. Like China's doing, building land.
There's already natural islands out there where people get stuck.
The church might come through, they may say,
That would be cool.
you know, we're just gonna make all that land that they have, they're not doing anything with it.
The key there is gonna be making an arrangement where the town is comfortable investing money under the church's property.
Well, I was thinking if they just donate it to us. For tax write-offs.
Right.
I'm gonna say that to them. But you need a tax write-off.
Well, words,
I don't think they pay that.
they have a parking lot, right? And then there's, I'm not familiar with the skate park. Does it go all the way to the back of their?
It's a small.
It's a little dinky pool that's over there by.
It's about this size, right? About this size.
Yeah,
That's the size of a pickleball court.
Fill it in.
About the, not even as big as this room, it's a little
Right.
swimming pool
Oh,
that's
okay.
out there at some point, it's off in the corner.
Okay,
Yeah, I was actually appalled at how small it was.
I should go
If we're
there.
gonna have a skate park, we should have a skate park.
That's, yeah, it's not there.
It
But
looks
it's
more
right
like a
there, so
Should make
it's
a
on the
fish pond.
side, right here, okay.
I was just wondering how it squared off with their parking lot, if there was like an area left behind there, because what are you gonna do with it?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
We have a lot of areas that's not doing anything with right now, so they may be open to. Something. It doesn't hurt to ask, right?
Yeah.
So we can ask which one of these
Get
days.
quotes for, speaking of property that we own, did you get quotes for the building across the street from City Hall?
Yes.
Are we moving
Very
forward?
strong. We're with somebody with the parking lot. We'll get those. Get to the next step.
Paint, like paint.
Thank you, everybody, for being so deliberate and accommodating to our fellow town members here. Move on to our next item, which is park split funding, consideration possible outcome sponsor park split, 4th of July and parade and celebration.
Yeah, for the past 4 years, we've had the Independence Day celebration. And last year, we had it, I think a week after July 4th. But this year, July 4th falls on a Monday. So I contacted the company that does the fireworks for us, and he said the first, which is Friday, was available, so I reserved it. So we could present.
The Saturday's not, the Friday is.
The Friday is, and the Saturday, but we've always had it on Friday, so that's why I went there on Friday. I mean, I don't know why everybody does it on Friday, but I can check it if Saturday's available also for tomorrow, but it's on Friday, so it's here holding for us. It's gonna be 15% more, prices rise. Last year was 10,000, and let me get the prices.
Oh my gosh, 15%.
11.5.
Yeah, 11.5. And let me read what he said. The show, the same show as last year would cost 11,500. It's 10-minute show. The same value show as last year. If we paid 10,000, it would be 7 minutes. A 12-minute show, which is 2 minutes longer, would be $14,000. So we're asking any help that you can.
Do we pay for this?
What?
Does the CDC pay
I
for it?
think you kicked in 5,000.
Oh, so we contribute?
Yes.
Yeah.
And the rest was donations, right?
Yeah,
A lot
raise
of
donations. And it's, as you see, it's very popular. We get a lot of people from not only the community, people coming from out of the community, and it's just a wonderful event that showcases the town and of course celebrates our independence.
Well, we have the perfect venue for it right here.
It's beautiful.
So we have to spend the money for it. Huh? I'm so against it. I'm just, I mean, it's 10 minutes and it's $11,000 and.
It's part of the quality of life. People are
On the show, though. Did you come?
Yeah, I just,
From last year, how much CDC funds was actually utilized for? Because I thought the lion's share of it came from donations.
Yes.
So
Donations.
last year, I don't think we had any CDC funds because we didn't get it on y'all's
No,
agenda
that's right.
fast enough.
but we didn't use it the year before.
Right, but it never,
I
so
think-
it never got paid out, like, so it never, the year before.
Well, I thought they saved that money from the year before.
Well, I thought we paid it out and they credited it for the next year.
That's what I thought too.
Well, yeah, oh, you mean like, yeah, that's
Oh,
what
no.
happened. I'm sorry, I thought you meant the town council. Yes, they,
No, the company.
the
yeah,
company
they-
held it.
What's the longest show time that we paid for? 10 minutes, 14
It's
minutes?
been 10 minutes for the
10
last
minutes,
4 years.
More or less, 10 minutes, standard,
That's what we usually do.
and that's what we should.
Once we did a $5,000 show and it's so disappointing.
Sure.
$10,000 show is.
Which was a fizzle.
You blink, you miss it.
Whoever set off last year's was lacking in imagination. There was just too many redundant fireworks. They shoot 6 of the same thing and then 4 of the next same thing. And the first year we did the big show
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
And the guy was an artist. I think last year somebody was just putting in their time. And
So
I'm gonna say something.
hiring the
You
same
know,
guy.
I'll say something this year too, because I would expect for that kind of money is to get
Sure.
somebody with a, to get an artist in there to throw those things around.
Yeah, but it'd been the same person, wouldn't it?
It was the same company. I don't know if we had the
they just
same
got a
guy
bad
shoot them off, but
Maybe he got sick.
whoever set that up, I can almost guarantee you, I put money on the fact that the guy that did it the first year we did the 10,000, the
You
guy
knew
that
he
did
was
it
doing
last year was not the same guy.
Well, just let me tell you, what I noticed, and now that we're talking about it, I noticed there's so much smoke. Did you notice that or
There's
not?
always smoke.
Well, now, I just see beautiful, I never see.
Well, that's
smoke.
because ours is a low
Oh, that's
low
right.
elevation
That's right.
show. It's
Yeah.
not the high.
If you're right,
low elevation.
if you're on a boat on the bay, on,
It's all-
on this side, on the leeward side,
Yes.
you're gonna get smoked.
Okay.
Yeah, that's not.
I know. Nobody-
Well, we could talk with them.
Yeah, I want to talk to them this year.
Nobody fireworks, that's-
Because I was disappointed in just the imagination of whoever shut it up. I mean, anytime you're gonna shoot 6 of the same firework, one right after the other, you're, have a
Colors
same.
and different sight.
We want the expense.
Somebody was lazy.
Yes,
Somebody was late.
yes,
That's
they didn't,
right.
they didn't
Well,
design.
if
like
this
you
is
said.
our community's money, we need to give our community a show. A
It's a
nice
party,
4th
it's
of
a
July
party.
show. It's patriotic, it's the right thing to do, and it allows all
Volume.
families to come together and not have to get on the road to go across the road,
Okay,
to
fine.
go the island.
So, Kay, are you not disappointed because of the expense or just,
It's just, it's it's like a wedding for your daughter and you spend $30,000 and it's one evening.
And they
So
get divorced 3 years
$11,000.
later. I got a divorce 3 years later.
Do I?
The turnout in the community.
I know, it's all nice.
And to keep that.
Yes,
Families get together and I get married.
yes.
Chris, would you like how much?
Oh,
So the proposal is for the full amount or for the
it's,
balance of what's not covered by donations?
If you did it up to, and we got donations, then we only take what we needed.
There you go.
If you did up to the 11.5, and then we take the donations, we pull what we need and keep the rest.
That's similar to the way we approached.
yeah, with the. with the summer church.
So you're saying that the city's on the hook for whatever's not covered?
Yeah,
The CDC, if the CDC wants to help out, then, we would go out for donations. Get as many donations as we could, you know, the town will kick in, we ended up kicking in before. And then you guys would pay whatever you're willing to pay, put an up to number. Of what you're willing to kick in as a CDC, and then we'll get donations, or we'll put an agenda item on our,
Right.
you know, to take it out of some fund.
12,500.
You can't use hot funds for fireworks. You know, so it comes out like the general fund.
Who's one of the biggest donors last year or the year before?
Always kicks in.
Paint
and-
it, Marvin. I think,
Yeah, Gary.
Gary.
Yeah, Gary kicks in and Susan kicks in.
Oh, the blue marlin.
Well, so what was the amount, Mr. Mesa?
What about the real
We got
estate
about
people?
like 7,000 in
Yeah.
donations, so,
Yeah.
so
We
Mr.
did get real estate people.
Yeah, we raised about.
Olga,
I raised about 7,000.
Yeah.
If I mean, somewhere in my phone, there's a picture of the flyer and all the donors are on the
Yeah.
flyer.
the flyer says.
the law firms donate, the grant writer place donated,
A
the,
lot of people coming over.
yeah.
I know that the CDC board, we have what we spend our money on, right? But we get so much money per year to do with what we want.
So
We
you
always
have
spend it on the fireworks because that is what we normally do, correct?
Yeah.
So you've got that, whatever that 10% is of the promotional, is that money, is that the money you're talking about, the
How much
promotional?
did we purchase last year?
That's the 7,500, right, that you can do, I think almost anything.
Yeah, okay.
What goes 5 up to 5?
Well, I want to review the minutes, for the shows, what are they? So you said,
Times,
Times, okay.
so you said,
So it's 11,500 for 10 minutes. That's what we usually have. For 7 minutes, it's 10,000. For 12 minutes, it's 14,000.
7 minutes, 14,000 for.
so 10 minutes, 7 minutes, and 12 minutes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
7, 10, 12.
10, 11, 5, and 14.
And for the 10 is, how much was that?
11,500.
11,500.
But 7 minutes, no.
It to go with 7 minutes. 'cause
Wow.
You know what I mean?
So for 2 more minutes, well, that's a big difference.
3 more minutes.
It's not a big
3 more
more
minutes.
minutes, bigger one here for these two. These folks.
Yeah, it's 1,400.
14.
Well, I meant more. So
Oh, for the.
So the
what
10
if
makes more
we
sense than the rest
had
of
a
it.
little campaign?
Yeah, for the,
Raise
what
10
you get for your
minutes.
money.
10
I
minutes.
mean, I think a lot of people.
What is this per minute? Really?
And $20. You know,
It's gonna be different.
a lot of small donations
We'll
might make
organize
a
it.
big difference.
But who will organize?
And we have a lot of time.
Yeah, we got a lot of time to do that.
But we
Who
do,
will?
the city does get the major sponsors.
The
We do
big
that.
ones, yeah, right.
If somebody wants to.
And
contribute,
there-
and we
there's
send
other
that to
expenses-
everybody.
there's other expenses to the 4th of July.
Yes.
We've begun sending out flyers to all the residents
Which
for
is-
all of our.
I noticed.
and
That's
it's
amazing.
about
Nice.
$800 hit, right?
Yeah.
It costs about $800, but
800.
everybody gets a flyer in their mailbox. You've got them.
It may be.
And it gets-
And you
and-
see the
I've got it
participation.
already.
And
When you got 'em for
yeah,
Christmas and you
the
got 'em
attendance-
for-
The attendance skyrocketed when we started.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
it
that's
gets a
nice.
section of Port Isabel actually in there, and that portion we can pay from HOP, because it reaches out to Port Isabel,
Yeah,
so,
out of it.
so we get a lot of people. We do, I mean,
You know what, our financials are healthy.
I just want to point out something real quick. So if you divide 11,500 by 10, that's 1150 a minute, right? So if you divide 14, so 1150, 14
Like 12.
by 12 is 1166.
So you're going for the big bucks, aren't you?
I want to go for
No.
go big or go
Yes.
home.
Yes.
It's not much of a difference.
I thought you were going the other way. I could put more on the CD.
I was gonna say,
The cost is pretty much the same.
But that notwithstanding, is it, I mean, it's okay for us to pledge 5, just like we have. every
Right.
year.
Yes.
Right.
Okay, that's the ask.
Yeah.
So you don't get to choose how many minutes.
Did, last year, did we charge for the booth rental?
No.
No,
No, we don't.
We don't charge
That's why we have
minimum.
this attendance. We can't charge.
that's why I have those wonderful people.
And I
that
think
come
we
through.
did that because of COVID the year before.
So
we
yeah, it
didn't
kind of
do
started with no charge just because we wanted to get people out and then it just kind of like, it's there and it's
Didn't
just-
we charge one time and
One
we did
time.
that?
Well,
we
we
did
got
that
a less
basic-
in turnout. It was
People
like-
didn't turn out.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
like nobody wanted to, so we.
But
we
we've
don't-
got some
Make it
really
easy, don't
good
fix it.
dudes, some really
Very
good
good,
voters.
yeah.
Yeah, and they make their money and that makes their community happy and that's kind of what we're out there for,
Those,
so.
the people that come and handpick our city secretary, she went to all the
Okay.
festivals and said, can you come on? Can you come
Yeah.
on?" So,
I like
Especially
that,
the
that
food
guy
trucks.
with the.
Food trucks are the ones.
And the white cheese, oh my God.
Mr. Chair, I move that we pledge up to 5,000.
And we do the
depending on
14, and we do
what
the
is it
12,
covered.
why don't CDC pay
5,000.
half and then we raise.
How
the rest.
about 6? I would be open for, open for like 6,000.
How about 6,005? No, I'm just
Do I hear-
Six.
You make the motion?
I want to make a motion.
Go for it.
So I make a motion that we support the project for 14 minutes and that we support $6,000.
I'll
I-
second.
Wait, it's 12 minutes.
12 minutes.
Okay.
It's
So,
12
say
12 minutes.
Hey, say, do me a
He
favor,
wants
take the
more.
14-minute off, because if we can't do the 14, I don't want it to clear this deal.
Exactly.
You're talking about
12
12
minutes.
minutes. It's 12 minutes.
14,000.
Right, but if you specify that it's only for that show,
Oh,
then, and we can't afford the 14-minute show, then all of a sudden the CDC funding.
That's
falls
why it has to
off.
be irrespective of the time, it has to be up to 5,000.
But we can go 6,000.
so up to
Or
Okay,
6,000.
so we're
6,000.
gonna, we're gonna
Yeah.
do 6.
All right,
6,000. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Up to 6,000.
Second.
irrespective of the time.
Okay.
But the goal is wanting to do the 14, or
Yeah,
the,
12.
okay,
But
12
not,
minute show,
12.
14,000.
but not everybody wants that 14.
Gee, who doesn't want it?
So first, second,
Well, I think the town council would try to
Second.
make it
Carrie
right.
seconded.
All in
You
favor?
guys would be the ones.
Aye.
Any opposed?
You guys-
Me.
It's going on the record, guys.
Yes, please do.
Unfortunately, it's a lot of-
Well, you're not, you that was what the motion
It's
was.
lower.
Your motion is for $6,000.
No, 6,000 for the show is fine.
That's what the motion is.
That's fine, yes, I think it's that.
Okay, so who seconded it?
The
I did.
website now supports
And
donations.
the vote was unanimous in the
And we
end.
stand.
Yes.
I think, yeah,
Everybody, I don't know, everybody. got it.
They all got
that, no, because like the town council will be the ones that actually decide what show they do. because They're gonna have to do it different. You know what I mean? So it should be not really cheap. $7,500 is what you have available in your promotional budget, but they only wanted to do up to 6,000. So that's,
What they're trying to do.
But we use some of that money for the flyers and stuff like that, is that correct?
no, we use your money strictly to pay for the fireworks show. If you wanted to do more and pay for the flyers, we wouldn't tell you no, obviously, but, yeah, the flyer, the bulk mail is, must have been $800 or $900.
Okay.
Every year we pledge the whole thing,
Are there-
3,500.
Are there other items that are earmarked for use of that promotional, or has it just been historically used for this? Because I think in my tenure, it's just been on the docket for fireworks.
That's
Like,
right.
your tenure is about as long as mine, so. we'll have to
It's
go
been 4 years.
for this. Yes.
Back in my day, I didn't have any of those.
You guys have fireworks even?
The
Yeah,
two-member board
I was on the
always
CDC
did.
a while back and we took out an ad
Oh, yeah?
on that
Remember?
paper on,
For the,
on
Fireworks.
the islands
The whole
paper.
promotion of
Got a
coastal
page of
here,
that,
here goes to
yeah.
fireworks.
Well, then what did that tell you?
We bought a page of that one year, we just did it one year, it doesn't seem like there's any return to the town for it.
Do we want to amend and say 7,500 as opposed to the 6?
I say yes.
Oh, now she
Oh,
wants.
yeah.
Then it say 7,500.
The record
right?
reflects Kathy wants to amend.
yeah,
Okay.
There it is. But not the 14 minutes, it's just
No,
the 12 minutes.
You don't get to decide how
No,
you
no,
want
no,
it.
water
No
is
time.
free, 7,500.
No time of duration.
You did well
clause,
today.
just deciding.
You did very well.
7,500, yes.
Was that minus?
And
Why don't we just go for 20 minutes?
you still want to be the second on that? And all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
What a good vote game.
What happened? I don't even know who this voted for.
See, she got started.
That's all right, you guys just paid me a little bit extra.
Cool.
Well-
It's too bad the pickleball guys.
Oh, God, please.
They don't have the power.
It happened.
This is entertaining.
We don't have a meeting.
Everyone, as you know, or some know, I'm gonna start a new job at the wonderful Ecotourism Center. And I'd just like to thank all of you. It was wonderful working with each and every one of you. And I'm still gonna be working with y'all because I'm
Okay.
just be right there. So
Okay.
thank you for all your support, and it was fun working with everyone. And I look forward to working with you as partners with the.
That's great.
When does the search start for your place? It's already.
Tuesday.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
And we're gonna have a going away potluck for
Wow.
Mr. Mesa on Monday, if anyone wants to come, we're gonna do it at noon at City Hall. I haven't got the official email, but, we'll do a potluck. And the police department's gonna grill up, fajitas and.
Oh, then I'll be there.
Right? I know how to get the meat, I know.
Next one.
Next Monday at around lunchtime, we'll do, Norman's gonna make potato salad, which is reason enough to come. It's
I know,
really-
it's wonderful.
But yes, we wanna wish him well and send out good vibes and what all of it, so. If you guys wanna come by and,
And then you're gonna say, when are you gonna stop coming to visit? No.
I know.
Oh, we
He's
know
gonna
where to
perform
find
at,
you.
he's gonna perform for us at lunchtime.
Oh.
Farewell.
So when does that open?
The grand opening is on February 22nd.
Okay.
They had it this originally opening for what was it? The January 20th, it's gonna be like just next week, but
Second to Monday.
because of COVID and everything.
Okay.
You do 22.
22.
So you, it's 1 month
Whoa,
before
yeah,
election.
22.
It's 1 month before election. You can see every politician.
Oh,
Well, sir, thank you for your service to this community.
Well,
And
thank
I'm grateful that you are gonna be in the community still as
Yes.
our neighbor, and I have no doubt that that relationship will continue long and fruitful. Yes. And
Thank you.
we'll have big shoes to fill.
Appreciate it.
Well, this has been a very fun and engaging meeting. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Somehow you go so well.
You like
You
that?
fell right into that.
Well, I don't know. I think your daughter's birthday here.
That's the wedding.
My daughter just got married. And they have her get married in 12th. Beautiful.
You drop back on the acre. You bump my boat, we just go. I took off.
She's 30.
Oh.